الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. لتعجيل فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان، عطروا أفواهكم ونوروا مجلسكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
You find that the Shia are always the first to stand up for those who are oppressed. Whenever you see oppression anywhere in the world, the Shia are the first to make a stand, whether it's by voicing, whether it's by speaking up, whether it's by aiding, whether it's by physically helping. In terms of the Muslims, the Shia are always the first. Whether it's because we have role models like Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, who stands up to injustice, who teaches us sacrifice, or whether it's because we have been oppressed since the very beginning and we know what it's like to be oppressed. And so today, when you look at the events that are happening around the world and you see that there is oppression, you find that the Shia, whether it's Shia majority countries or whether it's Shia all over the world, they're the first to aid these people. They're the first to support them, not because of a personal thing, not because of a personal gain that we want, but because we have firm principles, we have firm values. While on the other side, the Muslim majority nations, they turn a blind eye to the killing of children, to the oppression. They don't just turn a blind eye, they have relationships with this oppressive, illegal state. They have the Abrahamic Accords and they have these relationships that they say, regardless of what's going on, we won't abandon this agreement. Because the difference, my brothers and sisters, is that for them, religion and Islam is what their leaders say it is. Islam is what the king says it is. One day he'll say Islam is to be extremist. Islam is to kill the Rawafid. Islam is to kill their Shia and their blood is halal. Islam is to keep women locked up. Islam is that women cannot drive. Islam is this. Islam is to execute a civilian because he spoke up. Islam is to murder a journalist and cut him up with a chainsaw. And then, when it suits me, Islam is to have music concerts a couple kilometers away from the holiest site on earth. Islam is that I have these rappers come from the US and have these concerts in this religious country. Islam is what I say it is. It's what the money says, it's what the dollar speaks. Yet on the other hand, the Shia have a leadership that's incorruptible. A leadership that you cannot buy with dollars, with money, with false promises and allegations. The Shia have something called al-marja'iyya, where we don't sell our religion. Our religion is not for sale. Our beliefs and our core values and our principles are not up for sale. You cannot buy them. And so when the West and their agendas and they want to implement these things and they realize, look, these Shia, they have something special. They have these leaders that they follow, and these leaders are humble people who live in a small house, a small rented house. They don't care about this world and these worldly desires and money. So how can we get to them? So they say, one can assume that they have a hand in trying to destroy our belief in this principle. They're trying to attack the concept of Taqleed. Today you find in Iraq, there are people going around actively trying to tell people that Taqleed is not something you should be doing. Taqleed is something that Rasulullah and the Ahlul Bayt have said to not do it. They have forbade it. You have people in Australia, you have people in the US, you have people in the UK actively going to the youth and telling them, look, you don't need Taqleed. So then, it's very important that we understand, what is this concept? What does it mean to be a muqallid? What is Taqleed? What is the role of a marja'? Because sometimes all we know is that our father follows this marja', so we will follow this marja'. Or sometimes all we know from this concept is that whether tomorrow is Eid, or it's the day after, or the day before. When in actual fact, this concept is so much more important than these things. When it comes to Taqleed, and what is the Taqleed, we first need to ask ourselves, what does religion split up into? What makes up religion? We have three things. The first is the aqa'id. Aqa'id are our core beliefs. It's our aqeedah. This is like our belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, our belief in the Quran, our belief in Rasulullah as the messenger and the final messenger of Rasulullah. These are the core beliefs that we have. This is the aqeedah, and the way you achieve or the way you obtain your aqeedah is that you put in the energy, put in the time, you read books, you study your religion, and you come to the conclusion of what is haqq, what is the right thing, and you believe in that. That's your aqeedah. And there is no taqleed when it comes to matters of aqeedah. You need to come to those conclusions, just like a convert, for example. Someone who's a non-Muslim, how does he become a Muslim? He researches other religions, and then through that research and through that work and through that effort that he puts in, he comes to the conclusion that there is no God but Allah, and he becomes a Muslim. The other thing that we have, so we have aqa'id, then we have fiqh, and we have jurisprudence. Fiqh, jurisprudence, splits up into two things. We have the necessary jurisprudence issues, the daruriyat. These are the necessaries. Meaning what? Meaning that every Muslim knows that you have to pray, that prayer is a wajib. You have to pray 5 times a day. Every Muslim knows that you have to fast the month of Ramadan. These are the daruriyat. In these things, you don't need a marja. There's no taqleed in these daruriyat of fiqh. You don't need a marja to tell you prayer is wajib 5 times a day. Or you have to fast the month of Ramadan. And then we have another concept called the theoretical jurisprudence issues. The nadari. This is when, for example, you are praying and you have doubts. You're not sure, am I in my first rak'ah? Was it the second rak'ah? What do I do now? Do I stop my salah? Do I continue my salah? Do I add another rak'ah? You have doubt in this act of worship. These details and knowing what to do in situations like this require you to study, require you to research, require you to look at all these different aspects of the religion to be able to know what to do. And taqleed is only in these matters, theoretical jurisprudence issues. Al-masail al-nadariyya. That's where taqleed falls in. That's the circle of taqleed. And then why do we have this? Why do we have taqleed in these issues? So we don't have taqleed in aqa'id, and we don't have taqleed in the masail al-fiqhiyya. There are necessities, there are daruriyat, there are like salah and like siyam. But why do we have taqleed in this specific issue of the theoretical jurisprudence issues? Because, my dear brothers and sisters, it is our duty from Allah Azza wa Jal to know the rule of Allah, to know the hukum, to know what Allah wants from us, to know what Allah wants us to do, to know what Allah wants us to not do, what is a wajib, what is forbidden, what we shouldn't be doing. And there are 3 ways to achieve this. There are 3 ways for me to follow what Allah wants, to achieve the satisfaction of Allah Azza wa Jal and to know the rules of Allah. The first is that I go and I study for many, many years the different sciences of the religion, the Quranic sciences, the sciences of hadith, the sciences of all the narrations. And I dedicate many, many years to where I am able to extract the religious ruling, istinbat al-hukm. I reach the level of ijtihad, I become a faqih, where I'm able to read the Quran and read the narrations of Ahl al-Bayt. And for every specific matter in my life, every issue that I run into, I am able to come up with a religious ruling. And this, my dear brothers and sisters, is not possible for everyone. In fact, it's not possible for many people. It requires a lot of time, it requires a lot of energy, it requires a lot of effort. And sometimes you just want to know very quickly, what can I do and what can I do? The second thing that you can do is you can say, I am taking precaution. I have ihtiyat. This means that whenever I have doubt in any issue, in any mas'ala, I take precaution, meaning what? I'm not sure whether this thing is wajib or just recommended. I have to do it. I consider it a wajib so I can clear my conscience. Or I'm not sure whether this thing is haram or not haram. Then I have to leave it. This is if I want to do ihtiyat. Now ihtiyat is also hard, because to have ihtiyat, you have to also have education. You have to also know what are the different opinions on this matter by the different scholars, what are the different narrations that are out there. You need to have the education, and you need to know how to exercise precaution. How can I exercise this ihtiyat? Is precaution in this matter that I do this thing? Is precaution in this matter that I don't do this thing, that I leave it? Is precaution in this matter that I repeat? For example, if you travel to a place and you want to pray and you are unsure, is the salah tamma, is the salah qasr? If you are someone that exercises ihtiyat, you have to pray what? You have to pray tam and you have to pray qasr at the same time. You have to do both. It complicates your life. It's not an easy thing. That's the second level. So you're either a mujtahid, a faqih, that you understand all these sciences and you can extract a hukum, or you're a muhtat, you're someone that takes precaution in everything. Or the third option that you have is taqleed. What does taqleed mean? See, a lot of people, they accuse us that we are blind followers. Shia don't use their brain, they just follow these people. So taqleed does not mean copy. It's not like in Arabic sometimes you say fulan qallada fulan, like he's copying his actions. No. Taqleed comes from the word qilada, from necklace. It's like you're literally putting a necklace or a medal on someone's neck. Taqleed is I'm entrusting someone else with matters of my religion. It means that I am passing on the responsibility to them. And it's on them. Whether it's a right thing, whether it's wrong, it's on them. They're the experts in this matter. Now, we come to, when it comes to taqleed, so when people say there's a misconception that has been going around for many, many years, that taqleed is not wajib. Yes, taqleed is not directly wajib. Taqleed is not wajib, but if I'm not doing taqleed, I have to do one of these things. It's wajib for you to do one of these things. I'm either a mujtahid, I'm either doing ihtiyat, or either I'm doing taqleed. You can't have none of these, you have to have one of them. And if you're not a mujtahid, and if not exercising ihtiyat, then your a'mal, then your salah, everything that you do is batil. Now we come to what is the evidence regarding this concept of taqleed. What do we have out there? The first is the concept of Allah wants to make your life easy. يريد الله بكم اليسر لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Is it easy for me to go and be able to understand and comprehend all of these different sciences? You know, the Arabic language, there's 4 different sciences that we have. In terms of the Quranic sciences, we have the reasons for tanzeel and the tafsir and the ta'wil. There's another 4 or 5 sciences. Narrations, when it comes to understanding narrations, we have 5 different sciences. Ilm al-rijal and many other, and how to authenticate a hadith. Researching, why did the Imam say this? Understanding how the tone of the Imam is, how the dialect of the Imam is. Did the Imam say this in taqiyya? Did the Imam say this when he actually meant it? These are things that require many, many years and decades of experience to be able to have. So it's not easy for you and I to be able to extract this. And we need a specialist. Now, the second reason is it's the way of the wise. In Arabic, it's called Sirat al-Uqala. What is Sirat al-Uqala? Sirat al-Uqala, the way of the wise, is that from the dawn of time, from the very first humans or ignorant people will go back to the people of knowledge. The jahil goes back to the alim. The non-specialized person goes back to the specialized person. And for example, you're sick. You have a stomach bug. Do you go to the mechanic? Or you go to the doctor? You go to the specialized person. This person is specialized in treating this thing. Likewise, these maraja', when you're performing taqleed, they are the specialists in this specific matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, in terms of evidence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And if you don't know, ask those who have the knowledge, أهل الذكر. And then the ayah that I began with today is very, very straightforward. It's very obvious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ لِيَنْفُرُوا كَافَّةً. And the mu'mineen are not all going to go and study because it's not realistic. Everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's doing their own job. وَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لِيَنْفُرُوا كَافَّةً فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِّنْهُمْ طَائِفَةٌ لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ. And from every group of them, there's a small group that goes to learn religion, لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا, to dive into the depths of this religion and the sciences. وَلِيُنذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ إِذَا رَجَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَحْذَرُونَ. And then their job, this is in the Quran, Allah says, and then when they go and they do that tafaqqah and they understand their religion, then they come back to their people and warn them, teach them. This is what the religion says. Now some people will say Taqleed is a relatively new concept and it doesn't exist in our history and it's something that was created. However, when you examine the ahadith and the narrations of our imams, you'll find that the concept of Taqleed was present in the time of the Ma'sumin, in the time of the imams. The imam is alive and the concept is there. عن شعيب القرقوفي قال قلت لأبي عبد الله عليه السلام ربما احتجنا أن نسأل عن الشيء فمن نسأل قال عليك بالأسد يعني أبا بصير. This man approached Imam al-Sadiq. He says to him, "Oh Imam, what if I have a matter, I have a question and I cannot approach you? Who do I go to?" He tells him, "You go to Abu Basir." Meaning that Abu Basir has knowledge, has studied and is able to give you an answer. Another narration from Imam al-Ridha, a man approaches him and says, شقتي بعيدة ولست أصل إليك في كل وقت فممن أخذ معالم ديني. This man approaches Imam al-Ridha and he says to him, "Oh Imam, I live far away. I cannot come and visit you whenever I need a question answered. So where do I get my religion from?" قال من زكريا ابن آدم القمي المأمون على الدين والدنيا. He gives him a name of this person and he says this Zakaria ibn Adam is someone who is trusted in matters of this religion. So it exists from the time of the Ma'sumi. Now what are the conditions for a marja? How do I choose a marja? Is it the marja that my dad follows? Is it the marja that people in my family follow? There are a number of, the responsibility is on you. The first thing is that the marja needs to be someone who is knowledgeable and he needs to be the most learned jurist. He needs to have this a'lamiyya. How do I know he's the most learned? I can't assess him. I am not the most learned. I can't really judge him. We go to the people of experience. Ahl al-khibra, they call them. You go and you ask these people, you get a few statements from this person, this person, this person. Who is the most knowledgeable? Who is the most knowledgeable? And you come to that conclusion, this person I believe is the most knowledgeable person. And the second condition is justice and piety. Because it's not just information. A lot of people can learn and have knowledge and have information, but they need to be pious. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam, who was perhaps along with his father Imam al-Hadi, were the ones who prepared us for this concept of marja'iyah, concept of taqleed. Because they knew that there will be a zaman of ghaibah. There will be a time where our Imam is absent and the Shia will need someone to go to. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, he gives us some criteria. on who this person is. He says, من كان من الفقهاء صائنا لنفسه حافظا لدينه مخالفا على هواه مطيعا لأمر مولاه فللعوام أن يقلدوه وذلك لا يكون إلا بعض فقهاء الشيعة لا جميعهم. He says, whoever from these fuqaha, from these jurists, is someone who safeguards his religion, مخالفا على هواه, goes against his desire. He doesn't give fatawi or a fatwa because of his own desire from his own will. That's why you see the narrations from Ahlul Bayt that forbid taqleed. They forbid taqleed of a person who goes with his own wills and desires, not with a faqih or a marja' that analyzes what the hadith says or what the imam says. And then, my dear brothers and sisters, he gives us a very important warning. He says there are people who يتعلمون بعض علومنا الصحيحة فيتوجهون به عند شيعتنا وينتقصون بنا عند نصابنا ثم يضيفون إليه أضعافه وأضعاف أضعافه. And then there are those who take our right sciences, our right knowledge, and then they remove some of it, and then they add double and triple from their own accord. من الأكاذيب, from these lies, علينا التي نحن براء منها فيتقبله المستسلمون من شيعتنا على أنه من علومنا. And some of our Shia who are perhaps less knowledgeable will accept this information. وأضلوا وهم أضروا على ضعفاء شيعتنا. They misguide them, and they are more dangerous and they are worse on the weaker members of our Shia. Weaker meaning less knowledgeable. You haven't studied. You haven't opened a single book in your whole life. You follow a marja', you haven't read his Risala al-Amal. This is what he means. He says, وهم أضر على ضعفاء شيعتنا من جيش يزيد على الحسين بن علي عليهما السلام وأصحابه فإنهم يسلبونهم الأرواح والأموال وهؤلاء علماء السوء الناصبون المتشبهون. And these people will take these people's souls, their minds, their money, and are the scholars of evil and corruption. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is a very important topic. It's an important issue to understand, that we don't just follow without knowing exactly what we are following in, what is meant by taqleed, what are the matters of my religion that I need to follow in. And when I'm choosing who to follow, that it's not based on my family or based on what my friends follow or based on one mas'ala that makes my life easier or based on who always has Eid first, who always has Eid last. No, there are conditions that we all have a responsibility, because this is your religion. And this is one of the most, if not the most important thing in our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, inshallah, to the right path. May Allah, inshallah, guide our youth to remain on the path of Aba Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam.